So, Michael, for the cold open this week, I have some very interesting news, which I think
They're making a Desperate Housewives movie.
Maybe they are, but I don't have that in front of me. I have some news which I think you in particular will find very interesting.
Yeah, I know what it is. Desperate Housewives movie.
So the original Jurassic Park cast is to return in the next movie. The original stars of Jurassic Park are to reunite for the next installment of the dinosaur film franchise. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum will reprise their roles in the upcoming Jurassic World 3. So, what do you think about that, Michael? Are you excited?
It's just like... I swear, genuinely, it's my opinion, and I am strongly of this opinion, the films have got worse and worse.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, a lot of people say that Jurassic Park 3 was, like, the worst one, but Jurassic Park 3 was a perfectly functional monster movie. It wasn't, like, good, and it wasn't really a great Jurassic Park film, but it was, like, I watch it and I enjoy it. Like, I will happily watch Jurassic Park 3 and think, you know what, I'm enjoying this as a monster movie. It's like watching the first half of King Kong. But then, like, Jurassic World is just so... just awful in every way. And then they make Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, it's even worse. So, genuinely, if they can make Jurassic World 3, like, worse than Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I will be legitimately impressed.
So you are kind of excited?
As long as they've got a giant volcano that's trying to blow up the island, and I hope that there's an evil guy who wants to use the dinosaurs for profit or something like that, because I don't think we get enough of those in these films.
But the original cast, Michael, it's back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, great. Jeff Goldblum, he's good. He's aging like a fine wine. Sam Neill, he can do a job like he does every 10 years. Generally, like, is Sam Neill like never in anything, or is that just me?
Yeah,
like when Sam Neill, he's like, just every now and then you'll see a film and Sam Neill's in, and you're like, whoa, he's an actor. He's not actually a paleontologist who goes to islands. He stars in other films. So I guess it's good that he's working. So good job, Sam Neill.
I get it. From this rant you have just had, Ben, I take it that you're not going to enjoy, or you're not going to look forward to Jurassic World 3 more, considering the original cast are back.
I think it would be better if the plot was that they were going to clone the original cast, and that the film is actually about an evil scientist who wants to, he's like, I want to resurrect the Jurassic Park franchise, and Ian Malcolm's just there like, no, you can't play God. It died because it was meant to die. Stop. You were so busy thinking about whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think whether or not you should.
Classic.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films from the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke. And this week we are looking at Batman 89 to celebrate both the 30-year anniversary and also ultimately the release of the new Joaquin Phoenix film, Joker. And Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about Batman 89?
Sure thing, Michael. So, as you mentioned, we are doing Batman 1989 because it is the 30-year anniversary, and also the new Joker movie is coming out, and this movie obviously features the Joker. Jack Nicholson plays him in one of the... well, here's the thing, like every Joker performance, apart from Jared Leto, I think is held to a very high... or everybody likes it, basically. It's a very
love a bit of Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero, yeah, apart from Cesar Romero as well. But, you know, this is the first proper Batman movie.
Yeah.
Or modern Batman movie, anyway. So, anyway, Batman is a 1989 American superhero film directed by Tim Burton and produced by John Peters and Peter Gruber, based on the DC Comics character of the same name. And it is the first installment of the Warner Brothers' initial Batman film series. It stars Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, Robert Wuhl, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams, Michael Gough, and Jack Palance. It was released on June the 23rd, 1989. And Michael, can you tell me what the budget was for Batman?
I think it was a lot, because I think, number one, they would have had a lot of faith in this, and also I think, like, I mean, there's a lot of, like, costumes and stuff and things like that. I mean, this was, I think, genuinely intended to be a big blockbuster. Having said all of that, I have no idea how much a big blockbuster would have realistically cost in 89. There's always these things that surprise you, but I'm just going to go for 55 million?
35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not quite that high. And what about the box office? How much did it make?
I think it made a lot. I don't know. 200 and I mean, I say like a lot. I don't know. Yeah, let's be more charitable. Okay, 340 million.
340.
Yes.
411.
Okay. Well, I'm not. I'm glad I went higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a massive success. It was, like I said, a financial success, and it was the fifth highest grossing film in history at the time of its release. It also influenced Hollywood's modern marketing and development techniques of the superhero film genre, which we shall get onto later on. So yeah, this was just a money-making machine, this movie. So yeah, it really was a massive success financially, like we said.
Yeah.
So
more like a massive success.
Did you like this movie?
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, kind of for me. It's kind of enjoyable.
I enjoyed it, Luke. You know what? And more than that, I bat-joyed it.
Okay, stop saying that, please.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you wait until you get into my Joker puns.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Luke. This movie, it's no joke.
How many nitpicks did you have?
I've got 2, which seems like very low for a film like this.
Yeah, it does. Like, you've been doing a lot of nitpicks recently, so I'm surprised at that. I have 4.
Okay, yeah. So I get to go first.
Yes.
Number 1, he was really banking on that tray thing working when he, I mean, it's a classic example of Batman. Or Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker shows up, and Bruce Wayne's like, oh, he's showed up. I'm gonna put a metal tray here before I confront him, and then he'll shoot me here, and it'll be fine. And it's a good example of like he's not good. He's just lucky. I mean, like how on earth did he think to himself, oh, he showed up, I'll just immediately take the tray. I mean, you don't see him do that any time when he doesn't get shot. So he must have just known that he was going to be shot that time.
He could have got shot in the face, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, yeah. I mean, that's also an issue with his whole, uniform in general. I mean, even when he's Batman, someone could shoot him in the face. And number 2, if the Joker fell hard enough to leave an imprint of himself in the concrete, this is, of course, right at the end when he falls off the gargoyle or whatever else. I mean, he gets held onto the gargoyle and he falls down, and there's literally like a smashed silhouette of him in the concrete. And yet his body is held together remarkably well, given that. It's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. It is a bit unrealistic.
Yeah. It should have just been. It was kind of like cartoony. You just imagine like it should have been like in Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote when they got like just big imprints of themselves in the ground. Yeah. That's what it should have been. And it should have been, when he hit the ground, it should have been a little poof.
Yes.
Anyway, what are your 4?
Okay, so my 4, right. So the first one, Joker's accident. Apparently, there's just massive tubs of acid that people can easily fall into. I'm pretty sure health.
Sorry, for a minute I thought you said Joker's accent.
Oh,
and I was like, what's wrong with his accent?
Yeah,
I got you.
Okay, so apparently this movie is set in the 50s.
Okay, well,
doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, the thing about what I really liked about Batman the Animated Series, there we go, I'm already there, is that it was like this cool aesthetic, retro aesthetic, where basically the idea was the society was as if it was in the 40s, but the technology was as if it was in the modern day. So basically, modern day 90s, which of course when the series out. So Batman would use a computer, and like everyone had cell phones, but then people would wear, top hats, or not top hats, but those hats people wore in the 40s, and they go to like jazz shows and things like that. And I always thought that was neat. But yeah, so maybe that's kind of the thing, because obviously I feel like computers are used in this as well. So, and also TV is like color. So I guess it's like 50s aesthetic, but then, or 50s society, and I guess that explains like why a lot of the people in the newsroom are like, although they're not very sexist, so there we go, that proves that wrong.
Yeah, so here's the thing, you went on a tangent about the 50s and
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's fine, because it does get to my point. It's like, well, what era is this movie saying? Because I was thinking, well, safety standards, they wouldn't allow that in 1989, but maybe in the 50s, safety standards were so bad you could literally just have like a vat of acid that somebody could trip over walking along the catwalk, like Joker did. And obviously, yeah, he falls into it, and I'm just surprised Batman didn't have the strength to lift him up. Like, you assume Batman's pretty strong. Yeah. But anyway, he can't pull that.
No, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, which is, I found a bit odd. Anyway, next nitpick. Why does Bruce Wayne casually stroll up to the press conference that the gangsters are doing outside City Hall, I think it is? They're saying Grisham gave them all of his assets and they've ignored the Joker. The thing is, he plants some roses to honour the memory of his dead parents, and then he just strolls up to the press conference. Like, did he mean to go there? Was it just a massive coincidence that just at the same time he was honouring the memory of his parents, he just happened to walk past this press conference? I don't know. It's just a pretty weird coincidence, really, because I don't think it was intentional. Anyway, next nitpick. The police apparently are just not in this movie at all. They're not involved in trying to catch the Joker, it seems. And a staple of Batman films is the relationship between Batman and Commissioner Gordon. You know, them working together to try and beat the bad guy, who in this instance is the Joker. But the police are literally nowhere. They at the end of the movie, when the Joker announces where he's going to be and what time, the police just don't show up to arrest him. Which is,
yeah, you're right.
It's kind of crazy. Eventually, obviously, they do show up right at the end of the movie, but yeah, it's they should be in this movie more. Also, Batman, last nitpick this, he can't seem to move in his suit. It is quite hilarious, but also very practical. And I think sorry, go on.
I was going to say, did you hear about how he wasn't capable of getting in and out of the Batmobile? And they actually had a crane, like obviously a small crane, but they used to literally put a cable around him and use a winch to take him out of the Batmobile.
Yes.
On set, and they'd have to like cut. So basically, he'd be in it, and then they'd go, "Okay, cut.
Yeah.
Get a crane, take him out." So yeah.
If you're having to do that, perhaps you need to design another costume. And the things that you just can't stop thinking about it when he's in a fight. Like, he can't move his neck, and he's very stiff and can't move his arms properly. It's like, yeah, a superhero shouldn't be having difficulty moving his body while he's in a fist fight. So yeah, that's it. That is my 4 nitpicks.
Yeah, good. Okay, and now we move into the plot. So Luke, why don't you tell us the plot? You haven't explained it yet, have you?
Yeah, no,
well
I
done.
haven't. So
good job.
Yeah. Where are we? Okay, so it's quite simple, the plot here on Wikipedia. It just says the film takes place early in the title character's war on crime. So yeah, Batman has just started out. He's a few weeks in, I think, according to this movie, and it depicts a battle between him and his nemesis, the Joker. Obviously, Batman's number one nemesis, his arch enemy. And yeah, basically, that is the movie. Him just battling with the Joker until the Joker eventually dies and Batman wins. Yeah, so obviously we'll get into this. I like, just to start with the first scene in the movie, you think it's going to... you think it's going to be Bruce Wayne and his parents, and they're going to get killed, but it's just some of the rich people, and Batman swoops in to save the day. I kind of like that, because when you've seen so many Batman films, seeing Bruce Wayne and his parents get killed, and you're like, here we go again. And this was the first one, so they didn't really need to, switch it up on the audience. But no, it's some rich people. I was like, that's good. I like.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like that too. Yeah, I had that written down and kind of like a little reference. Maybe even, I don't know. I mean, I genuinely wonder in '89 how many people really knew about Batman's origin. Because obviously, like you say, they didn't need to be. There wouldn't have been this fatigue over it that there currently is.
He is the second most famous superhero character.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. But for example, I guess everyone knows Clark Kent's origin. So, sorry, not Clark Kent, Superman's origin. So yeah, I guess probably people do know his origin. So yeah, and in that case, obviously it would have been like people, so everyone would have noticed it, and that was a good way of kind of introducing Batman.
Yes.
And also, I guess you could say introducing the point of Batman, because Batman's had a variety of, I think, motivations, but the simplest motivation would be that obviously his parents were killed by crime, and therefore he wants to stop crime so that nobody else has to experience what he experienced. And of course, that's represented here by the fact that there is somebody else who, wouldn't have experienced what he experienced anyway, because Batman didn't stop killing anyone, but who kind of alludes to that. And obviously Batman comes in and says, hey, don't do crime, Buster.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. So obviously, as mentioned before, Batman, he's just starting off, and I think that's more interesting because the police, they don't think he exists. Well, maybe they do think he exists, but they're like, whatever. These just some crazy, I don't know, robbers and burglars, and the underworld of Gotham just making stuff up. Maybe they're all on drugs. I don't know. Maybe that's their reasoning, but I kind of like it. Like, he's just some sort of thing that nobody.
He's an enigma.
Yeah, an enigma. Yes.
He's Jim Carrey playing Edward Nigma.
Yes. God, what a great performance. So nobody really knows he exists, and so it just, like I said, it just make it more interesting. Because obviously in Batman Begins, they don't really delve into that. Obviously, the Christian Bale one. Bruce Wayne and being the Batman, it's not really a kind of like mystery like it is at the start of this movie. And obviously, in the Batman v Superman, Batman is already established as Bruce Wayne. So yeah, no, I do like that as well. But I think what I really like about this movie, and the reason why I said at the start I kind of like it, is because the first 40 minutes I really do like. And that's because you've got a bunch of stuff like, the corrupt cop, the gangster being double-crossed by his mob boss. He's having an affair, which is obviously the Joker. You got journalists trying to figure out all the stuff about the Batman, the intrigue and the mystery. The mayor and the commissioner and the DA, all trying to clean up the city to get it ready for the parade. So you got a bunch of people doing a bunch of stuff and have different motivations. And that's kind of why I like the Batman universe in general, because it does seem very realistic.
Very lived in.
Very, very lived in. That's a good phrase. Like an actual proper city would be, or back in the 80s.
It's kind of like the difference between Simpsons and Family Guy.
Okay.
That's what I always think of in terms of, because I always think with Family Guy, like, it doesn't feel like anybody actually lives in the Family Guy universe, mostly because they're all played by the same guy.
It's different from the
Simpsons. Whereas in Simpsons, it's like, it's filled with all these characters and you feel like it's a real neighborhood. And that's kind of how I felt about Gotham. Like, you really do. And there's like all these different, all these different characters that they do introduce. And, obviously I think, I would assume maybe a few of them like are kind of references to the, comic books, but obviously they feel like very much kind of original creations, as especially characters like, for example, the reporters, who, I haven't seen any kind of thing similar to that in any other Batman films. And that's
Vicky
like
Vale is an actual character. I don't know about the other guy.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume, like I say, they're probably characters to some degree, but obviously not major characters. Yeah. And that's the nice thing about Batman. There's a lot of characters which aren't major characters, and yet they have their little moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. There is a TV show, I don't know if you know, I think it's just called Gotham. And it just...
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think it ran for like 5 seasons, and it just details Batman, a young Bruce Wayne in his journey to becoming Batman, and it revolves mainly around Commissioner Gordon. And the thing is, you can do that in a Batman universe, because obviously you've got the Commissioner, you've got the Mayor, you've got the District Attorney, Harvey Dent's in it. All these people, all this politics in like a major American city, and that stuff's interesting. And this is what you've got in this movie for the first 40 minutes. Then that just stops. After that, think about it. You don't see Commissioner Gordon until literally the end of the movie. That's the next time he appears. Harvey Dent and the Mayor, they have like a couple of 1-minute scenes here and there when they're on the TV. That's it, though. And I think the other journalist, who's with Vicky Vale, what's he called again?
Something Knox. I was about to say John Knox. Yeah. That's obviously not what
Knox.
his name is.
I think his last name is Knox. Yeah. So he's not really in the movie that much after that, and that's the thing. It just becomes after 40 minutes about the Joker. The Joker doing fucked up stuff, and Batman trying to stop him, with Vicky Vale getting caught in the middle of it all, and that is not that interesting, really. Certainly, when you've seen a bunch of Batman stuff, it's just like, well, here we go again. It's the Joker doing jokery stuff, and Batman trying to prevent it, and there's no greater theme going on, which we'll get onto later. So yeah, it's just that's the thing. I was watching it and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I was thinking, I can't believe this has only got 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, because this is a really good start. I'm really liking this. And then after that, it's just like, oh, this is just a standard Batman versus Joker movie, and it just became average after that, which was a shame. So what do you think of that?
Well, I never really thought about it that way, but I think that is kind of a good point, because what I was thinking, to be honest, is that I was thinking this film doesn't need to be as long as it is. And it's not that long. It's 2 hours. But I was thinking, like, I think they could have cut down, definitely, on some of the Joker stuff. But I think, obviously, the flip side is maybe it did need to be as long as it is, because then they could have added in a lot of the other stuff. And it is kind of weird, because it does, I think, fall off. And it's sort of as if they had these really interesting characters, and then they didn't really write anywhere for those characters to go. For example, the Knox guy, he's fun and entertaining, and he's got this thing going on, but I guess there's not really much of a payoff to his storyline.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything, does it?
Yeah, because, and in maybe a better film, you would sit down and you'd say, okay, what are these characters, like, write story arcs for each of these characters. And obviously the standard kind of story arc is a character has, something they want, and at the end they get that, or maybe they don't get what they want, but they get what they need, as they say in Pixar. And obviously you can have that kind of story. So you have, John Knox, he's got, I keep calling him John Knox is the theologian. But because his name is Knox, and that's the only Knox I know, I don't know. That's just going to be me. I'm just going to call him John Knox from now on.
His name
John
is
Knox.
Alexander, by the way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Or Alex.
Well, John Knox,
Okay.
Alexander, he should have like a beginning, a middle, and end. He should have a moment where he's feeling down, and then everything comes together. And yeah, I think so. That would be good. And obviously, Harvey Dent could have set a lot of that stuff up more, especially since I think I'm right in saying in Batman Returns, there are, a lot of the original cast return. I think there are some moments where characters who are in this film, but don't really have much of a story arc, then get a lot of attention in Batman Returns. And obviously it would have been nice then for them to have more of a role. And then, of course, in Batman Forever, when what's the name of the actor? Obviously, the Lando actor who plays Harvey Dent in this.
The Lando actor.
Well, I know him as
You
for
mean
playing
Billy
Lando
D.
Calrissian.
Williamson?
Billy D. Williamson. There we go. Yeah, I knew it was one of those triple names. Obviously, when he becomes Tommy Lee Jones, at least he keeps the triple name format. And turns evil. He doesn't get set up there. They should have shown him. They should have had a scene where he looks in the mirror and he sees Tommy Lee Jones staring back at him.
Well, you know what? Actually, I was going to bring this up later. I don't know when, but I was. But basically, the reason why Harvey Dent was cast why Billy D. Williams was cast as Harvey Dent is because Tim Burton wanted to do something with Two-Face, and I think he said the African-American thing. That was his phrase. So he specifically cast him because he was African-American. But obviously, the studio decided...
Two-Face and the African-American thing.
Yeah, it was a quote like that.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, actually.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the fact that he's a cop and he's African-American.
I guess, yeah. So obviously,
know.
I mean, yeah, Tim Burton seems like the kind of guy who'll be quite progressive because he's, so eccentric.
Okay.
But, so yeah, I would assume maybe that's sort of what he meant. Like, you want to do something with... Although it doesn't really make sense to say I want to do something with Two-Face, and because that implies like, oh, he's got to be African-American because he's going to become a villain. But whatever, that's fine.
Here's the quote. Burton chose Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent because he wanted to include the villain Two-Face in a future film using the concept of an African-American Two-Face for the black and white concept. So he didn't actually say
thing. Got you. Okay, yeah. So in other words, because obviously black and white are two sides of opposites, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see that.
That could have been interesting.
Maybe there would be. It could have done a Michael Jackson thing.
But instead we got
like
Tommy Lee.
Version.
We got Tommy Lee Jones trying to one up Jim Carrey. Instead.
Yeah, brilliant. Loved it.
So yeah, just to sum up.
Did you hear Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey?
Yes, I did. Yes.
And he said, he like hugged him and said something. You're everything wrong with the movie industry or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. No. So yeah, just to sum up on the plot then, I guess, it's just disappointing that they could have had Commissioner Gordon anymore. They could have had Knox anymore, the journalist. He's doing stuff. Commissioner Gordon's trying to do stuff. He's trying to find out where the Joker's lair is, and he's getting pressured by the mayor and the DA and everything, and there's political stuff going on with maybe there's an election coming up or whatever. I don't know, just stuff that happens basically in the TV show Gotham. Because you set it up in the first 40 minutes, well, why not continue to do that? And basically just other Batman movies where you've got a load of, characters doing different things in this major American city. That's why I like the Batman universe. Like you said, it feels lived in, it feels real. And it's a shame they didn't decide to just go down that route and instead just focus on the Joker and Batman. Just, doing the old 1-2. Oh, the Joker does something, Batman tries to stop him. It's pretty tiresome.
And speaking of focusing on the Joker, Tommy Lee Jones said, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery." I wanted to find exactly, and it's such a funny quote. Just you can imagine the look on Jim Carrey's face as he's just like, "What about? I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
What about Jim Carrey as the Joker?
Well, I've always thought that, I don't know why, for some reason, when the Heath Ledger, obviously when The Dark Knight came out, there was a part of me that, I thought it was Jim Carrey. I don't know why. I thought to myself, oh, Jim Carrey's the Joker. I don't know why I thought that, because they don't look similar at all. But I remember thinking that in my head, and then And then I saw it, and I was like, this isn't Jim Carrey at all.
Okay.
Why did I think... I think, you know what probably happened is I was thinking about Batman Forever. But yeah, Jim Carrey, they should bring Jim Carrey back as the... Bring Jim Carrey back as the Riddler. That would be great. Just an aged Riddler.
Yeah, no, could work. I mean, he's the best Riddler they've ever had in a Batman movie.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking that. They can't do... I think it's really difficult to do a gritty Riddler, or a Gridler, as I like to call them, because I was thinking about, like, you know, the Christopher Nolan Batmans and things like that, and I was just thinking, yeah, they could not ever do, because he's just like, I mean, the Joker, you can do, like, you could just say he's kind of an anarchist, whereas the Riddler, he has to tell riddles, and there's no way you can make him do that without it seeming. It's kind of like in the Hobbit film, when there's the riddle in the dark scene, and it just feels so out of place because the rest of it is like a proper action film, and then they just go into a cave and it's like, let's tell some riddles. Like, basically what I've realized is that riddles are not cinematic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I challenge you to make a film with riddles.
Well, we should stop talking about the Riddler because he's not actually in this one.
Speaking of the Riddler, let's talk about the Joker.
No,
played by... Oh.
Yeah, you come on, Michael. You know I'm the person who... Are you okay? What are you doing?
Sorry, I was just breathing in frustration at your buffoonery.
Okay. Oh, well, you know, I'm the guy who moves stuff on here.
You're the Segway guy.
Yeah, the Segway guy. But we're not done yet. I just want to talk about the fact that in this movie, which is quite peculiar, really. The Joker's doing Joker stuff. Vicky Vale here and there. You know, she's doing stuff. Then Bruce Wayne finds out the Joker is the one that killed his parents, or Jack Napier as he was back then. As the Joker says, did you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? And that triggers in Bruce Wayne's mind, like, well, that's the same thing that the guy who shot my parents said to me.
How convenient.
Yeah, how convenient. So what do you think? The Joker is the one that killed Batman's parents. That's quite a difference to the comic book version. The reason why I say peculiar is because it was not really necessary if you think about it. Like, Bruce Wayne is trying to get the Joker. There's no real need for the Joker to have killed Bruce Wayne's parents, and obviously it doesn't happen in the comics. So why did they do it? It's a bit peculiar.
I think, I mean, I know kind of why, and it relates to the fact also that this film gives the Joker a concrete origin. Because one of the things the Joker says is he says, "You created me, and I created you." And I guess, I mean, obviously the things they don't
I think
necessarily...
Batman says that, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So obviously, and the point is that, so by killing Batman's parents, the Joker creates Batman, and then by knocking the Joker into a vat of acid, or not acid, chemicals, the Batman creates the Joker, which, I mean, that's definitely a thing. I don't know if it necessarily means that much in terms of themes or the two characters. I mean, let's be honest, the Joker, it wasn't as if the Joker was a good guy before Batman knocked him. Basically, all he's saying is, you affected how I look. You know, you didn't really create him, if you're being absolutely honest, because it's not about the Joker on your face. It's about the Joker in your heart. Okay,
but he did go on a reign of terror that he didn't...
Yeah, you are right, yes. Yeah, you know what, Luke? You're right. So yeah, and I think that's basically it. I mean, I think... I don't know whether or not they just came up with that idea and then said, oh, and that means they will create each other. But I like to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that Tim Burton had this idea in his head. He thought, well, you know, the two created each other and there's some kind of symbiotic loop there.
Yeah.
And that's going to be reflected in the fact that the Joker killed Batman's parents.
Yeah, the old yin and yang. Yeah. So that is something that, yeah, I think I was going to talk about that a bit later on. But yeah, certainly, okay, I can understand why he did it. But you could just say, well, the Joker created Batman because Batman has to stop criminals like the Joker, and he only became Batman because to stop. Yeah, so
criminals.
Yeah. What did I say?
I said No, you said the right thing. I said criminals.
Oh right, okay. So also just at the end, we're just going to talk about the end bit. I think it's a classic Joker move or Joker's trick. The old double-edged sword at the end of the movie releases all this money, but all the people who get it are going to die. It's just the most Joker thing ever. I'm surprised all the citizens fell for that. Maybe they deserve to die, because it's like, it's the Joker.
Well, especially when he was like, and now I relieve you all of your wretched, miserable lives. And they're still just hanging around like, you know. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they just thought that was kind of his style. They were just like, oh yeah, this guy's edgy.
Yeah, but the police eventually do show up after Batman crashes his Batmobile plane, whatever it's called. I think it's the Batwing, actually. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the Batwing. Yeah, it is.
And Joker obviously captures Vicky Vale, takes him to the top of the cathedral, and then the Batman, does he kill the Joker?
That's the question, isn't it? So I would say, like, that's probably one of the less concrete deaths that Batman is responsible for in this film.
Yes, he does murder somebody literally 5 seconds before that, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, really, I'm going to say he didn't really murder him, because it's like, I mean, I would not assume that a gargoyle would fall over just off the weight of a human being. Because, it's made out of rock.
That's a good point.
So I think, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he just wanted to attach the Joker to the thing. Although, having said that, I think if he had the opportunity to kill the Joker, he would have. Basically, he's one of those guys who, like, he's not really Batman, or he's not the proper Batman in that, like, if it's significantly easier for him to kill the people he needs to kill rather than arrest them, he's going to kill them. But if he can get away with taking them alive, he's going to take them alive. And also, I guess it would have been kind of good if he would have caught the Joker, because I'm sure the Joker could have testified to some stuff.
Yeah, I suppose so. Anyway, I think we should get on to the Joker now, Michael.
Yeah, we're kind of already talking about Joker. Yeah. I want to talk about, you brought up something, the fact that he kills Bruce Wayne's parents.
I did, yes.
And obviously that relates to the fact that Bruce Wayne created the Joker. And that brings us on to the main thing, which I find interesting. We see the Joker's origins. Indeed, we kind of find out a lot about him, which is contrasted to the Joker generally in the comics, and also particularly the Joker in the Christopher Nolan films, where the whole thing with the Joker in the Christopher Nolan films is that nobody knows who he is. You never find out his origin. He gives two contradictory accounts of his origin, which is, in case you didn't know, a reference to The Killing Joke, which is also... So The Killing Joke is where the story comes from, that he got messed up by falling into a vat of acid.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Acid, yeah. But then at the end of The Killing Joke, he says, sometimes I remember my origin one way, sometimes I remember it the other. So basically, at the end of the comic, he basically says, yeah, but that might not even be true, because I'm just mental, and I don't even remember what I was like before I was the Joker. So the point being that even in that context where we see a potential origin for him, it's then discounted by him saying, yeah, but I don't really know. And obviously, I guess Tim Burton was like, well, we'll give him an origin. We'll take that origin. Makes sense. Having said that, I think the idea of not knowing who he is and him just being someone who shows up and you've no idea makes him more interesting. And that it like kind of the opposite to mystifies him.
Oh my God. That's great. That's a classic. The opposite to mystify. Yeah. No, you are right. He obviously in this one he falls into a vat of acid. That's what makes him mad. I don't think the science would support that. By the way, falling into a vat of acid, you survive and you just become mad, and your face now is in a constant smile.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how
the constant smile thing in particular. I mean, it makes no sense. I think I'm gonna guess the constant smile, because the thing is, okay, it's important to bear in mind that he gets sprayed in the face with some kind of burning chemical, and then he falls into the vat of, and again, it's not really identified as acid, but then I think what happened is the guy, because he gets the reconstructive surgery, I think probably the guy who did the reconstructive surgery was fixing his face from the burning, and maybe he was like, oh, I'll just, do a quick skin graft. Oh no, tell you what though, credits to the surgeon. I mean, everyone says, oh, he's not a very good surgeon. I wouldn't trust him to fix my face, but he has given him a very... Yeah, he's got a very symmetrical smile, does Joker, so
yes,
that's good.
So here's the thing, obviously, it's not very scientifically accurate, but anyway, let's just go with it. He falls into a vat of acid, and like you said, we don't know the origins for the Heath Ledger Joker, but the Joaquin Phoenix one, based on the trailer, obviously, of the upcoming Joker movie, he is already mentally ill, and I saw a great comment, it's like, on Twitter, it's like, how scary is it that in the 1989 Batman, the Joker has to fall into vats of acid to become mad. But in the modern Joker, Joaquin Phoenix just has to live in society.
Oh, wow. Are you saying we live in a society?
We live in a society.
Oh, wow. That's mental. I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix fell into a vat of society instead. That's what happened.
A vat of society. It's true though. You can't deny it. Yeah. I mean, so maybe society is the greatest villain.
Yeah, maybe
it's So
here's the thing though about the Joker, obviously, why is he called the Joker? Why does he call himself the Joker? Well, he's got the deck. Yeah, that's why. He has a lucky deck. But why does he have the deck? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we never find out. Well, you know what? Hopefully they do a prequel someday called Deck of the Joker. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe Joaquin Phoenix, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, is going to be a stealth prequel. And at the end of it, we're going to see him get the deck. Okay. And then they're going to say, also, take off that makeup and start to look like Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
And then that's going to be boom.
Well, what origin do you prefer? Do you prefer he fell into the vat of acid, or do you prefer he was mentally ill and something pushed him over the edge? Because I prefer the latter. I think, obviously, it's
I think the one reason why the latter works quite well is because the Joker hates society. The kind of way people often phrase it is he's an anarchist. That's obviously certainly how he's portrayed in, well, a lot of the incarnations. I mean, in this one, for example, he creates a lot of public panic. He's sort of a terrorist, and he doesn't do it for any personal gain. And basically the implication is, some men just want to watch society burn. So that's, I realize it's the world, but it's society. And that's basically what he does. And obviously that kind of works well if you say, he is crazy because of society. And just because, society sucks and Stacey's won't date him because they're always busy dating Chads.
Yep.
And they don't like epic gamers.
Society has let him down, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of it. So he's kind of got a vendetta against society. Whereas obviously in this version, he should have a vendetta against large vats of acid just laying out in the open with no lids on them. That should be what he's angry with. But yeah, that's the reason why I prefer it. Because, in other words, if he's just crazy, you can kind of make inferences about how he became to be crazy. And actually, one of the things I do like is that, I don't know to what extent actually this is, properly laid out. I saw, theories about it, but I remember someone saying that there's strong indication in the, Christopher Nolan Batman that the Joker has an ex-military origin. Oh, okay. And I kind of like that idea of him being like a jilted, veteran. But again, I think ultimately if you're going to do a origin for the Joker, then you kind of want to do implication and things like that. Because I think that idea of not knowing where he came from is
unless you're just doing a standalone movie called Joker.
Yeah. Well, again, the thing is, you could argue that, I feel like that is probably going to be a very, origin-y film. But yeah, as a standalone film, I think it's good. Yeah. So is the Joker, by the way, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, what relation does it have at all to, the DCEU?
Nothing. Okay, it's complete. Cool. That's the thing. We talked about it on a cold open ages ago. It's like they've got two different Jokers, Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix. And the Joaquin Phoenix one is not at all related to the DCEU. So yeah, it's a bit complicated, but there you go.
Oh, okay. Here's a fun fact though. Do you know what the Rotten Tomatoes rating for Joker is?
What, the one that's just coming out?
Yeah. So obviously there are some kind of pre-screening reviews.
Probably 100%.
Nope, 76%.
Fuck, really?
Which isn't that? Yeah, that's not that good.
Oh wow!
Do you want to hear what the Epic Gamers have given it on IMDb?
What?
9.5.
Oh god! No,
and apparently 15,000 people were able to go to an early screening, and they didn't just upvote it and give it 10 out of 10s before they'd even seen it. Okay. Because we live in a society.
Okay, here's the thing though. I was gonna do the fucking guess what the Joker's going to get on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought you might do that,
so
yeah.
You just but then now.
Well, you know what, Luke? At the end of the day, I had seen it, so the only alternative would have been that I would have seen it and then not told you that I'd seen it and then deceived you. So do you want to be deceived? Did you want me to pretend that I hadn't seen it and then say I think it will get 76% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes.
And then you'd like a tomfool.
Yes. Just let me go to sleep. Okay.
Okay.
On that, just let me dream happily that everything is above the board when it comes to my Rotten Tomatoes ratings.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just want to talk about Jack Nicholson as well.
Yes.
As the Joker. Obviously, he was the main guy when it comes to the Joker until Heath Ledger stole that crown. And we you can compare Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger. Obviously, they're different performances, different Jokers and all that. And I prefer Heath Ledger because I think that is truer to the actual Joker character or what a Joker in real life would be like if he did exist. But Jack Nicholson, just in this movie, I think he's well cast because obviously this isn't anything new. But
because of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
he is just so menacing. Like his whole demeanor is just so I guess menacing is the word that I can describe it as. I can use synonyms, but that's it basically. And yeah, he is really creepy. And so obviously he has that flamboyance as well, especially in that museum scene. That was a bit too camp perhaps, but yeah, obviously I can't imagine Heath Ledger's Joker doing that. So yeah, it's a different kind of Joker, and I think he does a very good job.
I think, see, what I was going to think is I feel like this might have been even creepier coming directly out of Cesar Romero, because in a way this kind of feels like, I mean, it's reminiscent of Cesar Romero in that it is quite silly. And it's kind of almost in a way, he is the campest thing in this film. And obviously the Batman 66 was notoriously camp. Obviously you could say the fact that they turn the campest part of the film into the most menacing part of the film was quite an effective way of, I think, passing the torch onto the kind of new Batman. I think that was actually a really good move. I don't know to what extent they actually thought about that, but it kind of, means that you understand this isn't your grandma's Batman. And the thing is, though, I also like the fact that the Joker had fun, and this is going to be a good pivot a bit into comedy, because particularly the scene where there's the standout scene for me in a way. I like the museum scene, although I do think, like you say, that was a bit over the top. The standout scene for me was when they have the news report, and the news reporters or anchor people are not wearing any makeup, and it's kind of like
that was good, yeah.
Yeah, because it's sort of like it's a joke that comes from the violent crime. Whereas obviously, I mean, for example, again, it's making comparisons. Christopher Nolan's Joker. None of the crimes he does are funny. The crimes he does are just kind of anarchic commentaries on the state of man. I mean, I can't really remember all the crimes, but the main one he does the thing to the people on the boat. And obviously there's nothing funny about that. It's just a way of him showing, oh look, people can't be trusted, or people are evil, and people will bicker and fall apart and betray each other and all that kind of stuff. Whereas in this, a lot of the crimes the Joker commits are comedic, particularly the makeup one, where obviously it results in the news people having zits and just looking really tired and stuff. Right. And
it is completely different to what Heath Ledger would do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of more appropriate for the Joker, as the Joker, to be kind of, funny. And I like the idea of, like, the Joker killing people because he enjoys it, and kind of committing crimes because he enjoys it and finds it funny. And in a way, I think, while obviously I said it was interesting to have the whole thing of Heath Ledger having a vendetta against society and kind of hating society, because we live in one. But Jack Nicholson, obviously, it doesn't seem to even be hatred that motivates him. It's genuinely just, he's like, this is funny. And there is, like, and I agree, that's kind of the menacing aspect of him.
Well, that's menacing. The thing. I do want to get onto that, because you're right, his motivation, it is, you could argue, and that is a good argument, it's menacing because he just wants to kill people. Like, he's the Joker, he's just evil, he just wants to kill people, and that is kind of, creepy and all. But he throughout the movie, he makes references to like the press or whatever, or like, he says Batman's stealing all his press at one point.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's a clear motivation like the Joker and like fucking hell, like Heath Ledger in the Joker. And I think he puts chemicals in the cosmetic products so he wants to turn people into him somehow. Is that what he wants? Because he wants everybody to look like him. So
I suppose you could say he's motivated more by fame, basically. So or notoriety.
But then does he just? It seems at some point he just wants to cause chaos with other stuff he does. And
so he doesn't really have a coherent.
Why does he want to capture Vicky Vale as well? Is he just obsessed with her? Why does he randomly go to her apartment and just leave?
That's what I wanted to bring up, actually, and it's probably my most legitimate. No, not legitimate. I guess I'm not the one to say that. I mean, like, for me, it's the most legitimate criticism of the Joker in this film, and it's that the Joker in this film can be manipulated, and he is motivated in part in this film by sex. And the contrast here would be to, for example, the Joker in Batman the Animated Series, and obviously Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn. Because the thing with the Joker and Harley Quinn is that the Joker does not love Harley Quinn. He does not care about her at all. And obviously this is not quite as clearly communicated in Suicide Squad, but in Batman the Animated Series, he literally doesn't care about her at all. He's just abusive to her. Obviously, it's a kid show, so it's kind of like just more verbal abuse, just, indications that he doesn't care, like scenes where someone threatens to kill her and he's just like, I don't care. So basically, you get the impression that the Joker literally never has sex. That would be that's my headcanon Joker. It never has sex. Whereas this Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker, he's a horn dog. He goes to pick up this girl. I mean, first of all, he's having an affair, and that's kind of the reason why he gets in trouble in the first place. And then he captures Vicky Vale because he's really attracted to her, and he seems to be really attracted to her. And then obviously she is able to distract him by fawning. I was kind of combined two. Feigning interest in him and fawning over him. And he has that shot where he's like, looks like he's getting a stiffy. And that, in a way, to me, it kind of takes it away from the better Joker, because the better Joker would be someone who doesn't care and might pretend to do something like that and then reveal, actually he's not attracted to her at all, and what she's planning on doing doesn't work. But obviously in this version, no, he's a bit too easily taken in.
He's a bit too normal, I guess, in that respect. Would you say? Yeah. And obviously the Joker is meant to be just completely abnormal. So yeah, you are right. You wouldn't associate the Joker with sex, and I think that is the right thing to think. So yeah, again, what is he motivated by in this movie, Michael?
I mean, so for me, I would say, like, if I had to, I mean, do you have an answer? Because I have an answer I could
you
go
give your
for
answer
if I
first.
felt. I mean, my answer, if I had to go for one word, and I don't think this is consistent, would be fame or notoriety or notice.
Yeah, he doesn't really. He appears on TV, so that lends to that argument, and he says Batman's stealing his press, but then again, he just does stuff which, like with Vicky Vale, which doesn't have anything to do with the press. Then he also wants to find out who Batman is. Is that because he's jealous of Batman, that Batman's getting press? Or does he want revenge on Batman for throwing him in the... Well, not throwing him in the vat of acid, for causing him to fall into the vat of acid? It's not that clear. And that is a problem. I was thinking throughout this movie, like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And you could say, well, he's just mad, so he just does what he likes. So that makes him menacing, and that's just the Joker. But I think it's better if he does have a clear agenda.
Yeah. Joker, I hardly know her.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on his motivation. Not as good as the Dark Knight one. Anyway, Michael, we should get on to Batman now.
Yeah. Did you like how I said, I'm Batman?
Yeah, I did. That was great. Well done. So here's the thing, we're just talking about Joker's motivations. What are Batman's motivations? Because the thing is, this is the problem I had with Batman, and obviously Jack Nicholson wanted top billing in this movie. He wanted to be the star of this movie, and that obviously plays out in this movie, and Batman just seems to be like kind of there. And obviously you said before about the yin and yang thing of Batman and the Joker. The Joker says, you made me, and Batman says, well, you made me, and I think that kind of thing, I'm not sure that you really get a sense into why Bruce Wayne dresses up as a bat, because you don't see his origins. He's been at it for a few weeks. Alfred doesn't say anything to that regard. It's like, okay, it's a big move to then go and, start fighting criminals wearing a massive bat suit, with a Batmobile and Batwing. It's like a big step up. So I'm just, why did he decide to do this? Because it's not something that you can like gradually slide into, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I think so. In a way, kind of a positive, but more like something which I think this film could have leaned into more. I find the idea interesting of having a Batman film where Batman is, I'm sure there are other examples of kind of films like this where the ostensible main character is sort of a weird person who's primarily viewed through the views of other people and the experience of other people. And one thing I did like about this film, actually, in that regard, is the fact that Batman doesn't, you don't really see, Batman and Bruce Wayne, or you don't understand who Bruce Wayne is until a reasonable length into the film. I mean, with, maybe like, I think it's 20, 25 minutes, but that's a decent amount of time. And obviously, it starts off with this idea of like, who's you start off this mysticism around who's Batman, and people don't believe he's real and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got Bruce Wayne, and they're like, oh, Bruce Wayne, he's weird, he's an eccentric billionaire. And I did like the fact he was eccentric and like kind of weird, and he seemed strange, and I sort of liked that.
Yeah, he does. No, he does. You're right. He does seem strange, but I'm saying...
So I get what you said. So, and I was going to say, so in a way that would work with him having an unclear origin and unclear focus. Having said that, I think if they were going to do that, they should have lent into it more. Like I said, and with that absent, I think maybe they probably should have had, kind of go one way or the other, I suppose. So either have him be a complete enigma who you don't really understand at all, but then at the same time, the film's not really focused on him and it's more focused on, secondary characters and their interactions with him and things like that. More focused on, for example, Commissioner Gordon and things like that. Or alternatively, have kind of the more Batman Begins thing where you see his training and, his working on his tech and like in all of his investigation in the nitty gritty detail. So one or the other, and I guess it kind of fell in a bit of an awkward place in the middle. Would you? Yeah.
I think, to be honest, if you had him not in this movie at all, like you said, it's in a bad middle. If you had the other extreme where he's kind of not in it a lot, well, yeah, whatever you said, it wouldn't then be a Batman movie. You couldn't call it Batman.
Well, yeah.
So I think what this movie, it's Batman just needs to. He needs to be have more attention drawn to him, and I think. Well, go back to the whole thing of Batman and the Joker. They're two sides of the same coin. I just really don't think there's enough emphasis on that. I saw this quote from Tim Burton that it said the whole film and mythology of the character is a complete duel of the freaks. It's a fight between two disturbed people. But I wouldn't say that is a real theme in this movie. There's only a couple of lines given towards it. So if you make that more of a theme, that's more interesting, and that perhaps explains Batman, where he's come from, why he decided to do this.
Yeah, I think they should have had more Batman melodrama. Yeah. So they kind of should have had a moment that shows Batman's sadness. Because, he does, I mean, that's the thing, he does seem weird in this film. Actually, okay, I tell you what. Let's get nuts. Yeah. Are we going to talk about,
that's the thing, like, that scene, like, that I can totally believe Michael Keaton. Yeah. We're going to talk about Michael Keaton's casting in a sec, but I can totally believe that he is a guy that would dress up as a bat and go around beating up people at night and fucking hanging upside down. Like, he does seem to be that kind of crazy weird person. He does seem, like you said, just a bit crazy. But still, it's like, okay, right, well, what are his... You can say, well, he was killing those people at the start. Was not killing them, sorry. He was not even arresting. What was he doing? He was just beating up those poor people at the start. Yeah. He robbed somebody. And so you could say, well, that he's doing that. His motivation is clear. He's doing that to stop people doing what that guy did to his parents. So, that's all. That's clear. That's clear motivation. But still, there is such a gap from him wanting to stop that happen to dressing up as a bat and going around doing what he's doing. Yeah. And that just isn't explained in this movie. Like, Vicky Bale doesn't ask him really about it. Alfred doesn't question him about it. It's just sort of like, oh, he's the Batman, I guess. It's just a shame there isn't more of an exploration of his character, really. Yeah, well, the other thing I think about that is, so obviously there's the fact that his motivation isn't entirely there. Although, like I say, I think his motivation is halfway there, and he does seem like a crazy guy who would go out and beat people up. But for me, the other problem is, it seems like he's not that good. Like, that's my other problem with him. So on the one hand, he's got well, you mean at fighting? He's not that good at fighting. I don't mean like morally he's not that good, although we can talk about that probably in a minute. But the scene where he's walking along and he knocks over some pews in the church, and it causes a really loud noise, and that kind of was the moment where I thought, he's just not that great. Like, and in a way, it's kind of like, obviously there were the deconstructions of superhero films that came out, the two big ones being Kick-Ass and Super, starring Rainn Wilson. And the whole thing with them is like, what would it really be like if two random people decided to become crime hunters? And Super was kind of the closer example to it. And one of the things about that is obviously he's not a great fighter, because you wouldn't really be a great fighter. And in this film, again, it kind of almost felt like it was that. Like, this film genuinely felt almost like it was a deconstruction of a superhero film
before superhero films were even that popular, because it genuinely just felt like this was like a crazy guy. Like it almost felt to me like the Batman of this film was like what would happen if somebody saw Batman and decided to try and be Batman. Like, because, and that's kind of why the fact that, and obviously you say he can't really move much. I think that's kind of obviously, a problem. And it speaks to the fact that you never really see him do that much. And even the fact that, for example, way back in the nitpicks, I mentioned that he was just lucky with that Trey thing working out. And again, like, I don't believe that this guy is going to last that long as a crime fighter. Like, when I watch this guy, I think, okay, he's maybe got a couple more months left in him, assuming he's lucky. But if he goes up against lots of people with guns, they just got to hit him in the face once. And he doesn't seem that good at doing it. Like, and that to me was a problem. Like, I want my Batman to be somebody who is single-minded. One of my favorite facts about Batman, actually, is that he, in the canon, the mythology, he learned a type of meditation that basically means he can instantly, you know how there's two different types of sleep? There's, basically the simpler terms is like dream sleep and non-dream sleep.
Yeah.
And like dream sleep's where we kind of do all the proper sleeping. In the Batman canon, he learned a type of meditation, which means he can immediately fall into dream sleep. And that way, like, for example, if he's on driving somewhere and he's got like 5 minutes, he can just fall asleep and get like, and the idea is basically he never really sleeps because he can just fall asleep instantly. So throughout the day, whenever he's got like a couple of minutes spare, he falls asleep. But every other time he's fighting crime or running his business, things like that. And that's just mental. Like, imagine just learning that just so you can spend all night training to fight people in your Bat costume. This guy, you think like he wakes up, you know, after maybe 9 hours sleep, bums around the house, maybe punches a little antique punching bag for a couple of minutes, and he's like, right, time to go out and fight some crime.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem
shoot me in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it just seems like, yeah.
Yeah, no, you are right. He doesn't seem that I guess if criminals don't have a chance, I'm just going to easily, murder you. Well, not, or maybe literally murder you. Yeah, but I'm not going to just easily beat you, because he does have some issues beating some of the bad guys in this movie, which is not the best. Also, I another problem I have with him is you don't see him doing any detecting really about the Smilex or what the plant is that the Joker produces the Smilex from. Like, he just knows. He just figures out like the cosmetics when you put them together. It creates the problem, and he just figures out where the Joker produces.
Presumably just dumped a bunch of stuff into a little computer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he should be working with Commissioner Gordon to try and find that stuff. That would be good in this movie.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that, which is a shame. So do you want to talk about anything else to do with Batman?
Well, the only other thing I think maybe we maybe should talk about the fact he murders people. We've addressed the fact he murders people. Obviously, I think
I'm fine with it because I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not conventional Batman, and I think the criticism a lot of people make of Batman is they say, and this was particularly made of the Dark Knight. No, not the Dark Knight. Batman v Superman. Is they said if Batman kills people, it makes no sense that the Joker's alive because the Joker kills lots of people. Batman doesn't kill the Joker because Batman doesn't kill. But if Batman does kill, then he should kill the Joker because the Joker kills people. And that's a criticism people make that makes objective sense. So obviously the subjective criticism is just, well, Batman doesn't kill people. I want this to be like the real Batman, which is a perfectly valid thing to think. And I think, it does in some way add something to the character that he's got that rule. But you can also say, just watch the film and accept that this version of Batman kills. However, obviously, like I say, in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, where presumably it's set in the same universe as Suicide Squad, and therefore the Joker exists in this universe and has existed for a while, it makes no sense the Joker's alive. It makes no sense that Batman doesn't just kill anybody who, presents a threat to somebody. In this film, it's perfectly fine because he pretty much kills the Joker the first time he gets the opportunity, really. So, yeah, basically, at least he's consistent, is what I'm saying. He's a murderer, but he's consistent. But obviously, it should be said that if you're a vigilante and you kill people, that's a problem, just morally. So, because, being a vigilante in general is not really a kosher thing to do. But if you throw on, like, at least with Batman, he doesn't kill people. So, the courts can deal with that kind of stuff.
Especially
but when he's...
if you're a billionaire beating up poor people. And the reason that they're poor is because of your wealth. Indirectly, obviously.
But again, that kind of works because obviously Batman's just crazy in this film and believably crazy. So you can kind of be like, well, I genuinely believe that he just goes out and murders people who are struggling and must resort to petty crime and has no problem with it. So well done, Batman.
Okay, well done. Yeah.
Never change.
Okay, so we should talk about Michael Keaton now, Keaton's casting. And I just want to talk to you a bit about his original casting. So I don't know if you know this, but his casting actually caused controversy among comic book fans when it was announced. With 50,
Oh, really?
yeah, 50,000.
That never happens.
Well, 50,000 protest letters were sent to Warner Brothers offices. And obviously the modern equivalent to that is just his name trending on Twitter for a day and
Yeah.
people writing angry. And that was the case with Ben Affleck when Ben Affleck got the Batman job.
And Robert Pattinson.
Less so with Patterson, I think.
Yeah,
less
yeah,
so,
that's true,
less so. But yeah, just a bunch of people saying Ben Affleck, what the fuck? Like, and so that's the equivalent.
And Heath Ledger. People were like, Heath Ledger, the guy who starred in the gay cowboy movie and A Knight's Tale.
Yes, exactly. So Kane, Ham, and Olsen, and I copied this from Wikipedia, so I assume they're people like
Michael
Warner
Caine.
Brothers.
Is that Mike? I don't know.
They,
Michael Caine's in this film, is he? That was stupid.
No.
No,
They also
Ron
heavily
Caine.
questioned the casting. Obviously, there was a negative response from comic book people. I think they thought we were going.
No, I think Kane is the guy who actually invented Batman. Actually,
Oh.
I think because he's I can't remember what it is. It's like Bob Kane was an American comic book writer who co-created with Bill Finger the BBC comic. Yeah, so he created Batman. There we go.
Okay. So maybe it's the comic book writers of Batman then.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a quote. Obviously there was a negative response from the comic book people. I think they thought we were going to make it like the 1960s TV series and make it campy because they thought of Michael Keaton from Mr. Mom and Night Shift and stuff like that. So Michael Keaton was cast as a comical actor. That was his sort of type. You know, those are the roles he was playing in Hollywood. And so Michael Keaton, he's in a Batman movie. It's like, it's going to be Adam West all over again. That was the fear. But obviously that did not materialise then. He is a really great Batman. I think probably better than Christian Bale. And certainly better than Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Producer John Peters suggested Michael Keaton, arguing he had the right edgy, tormented quality. And I agree. He certainly seems the craziest one. Like the problem is with Christian Bale, he just seems so put together. You know, he doesn't have that like mad streak about him, which would cause somebody to become Batman, which is an issue with him. Ben Affleck, he kind of has it, but he's in like 2 movies and they're pretty shit movies. And his origin you don't see either, so that's an issue when determining whether he's actually a good Batman. And obviously I've said, Val Kilmer and George Clooney not up to the job, so basically Michael, let's see what Robert Pattinson does, but I think Michael Keaton's still the best Batman that has ever...
I do agree, actually. And he's also the best Vulture ever put to film, and the best main character in Birdman, the best Birdman ever put to film,
and the best founder of McDonald's as well. Let's just think of other movies that he's appeared in and say he's
the best Spotlight,
the best damn reporter in the whole of New England,
the best Dumbo.
He was in Dumbo.
The best Mr. Mum. The best Jack Frost. I remember that film.
Okay. So, anyway, that's Michael Keaton. A very good casting, even though there was a bad reaction to it at the time. Kind of the same, I guess, with Ben Affleck, because people would like Ben Affleck in Batman v Superman. But again, it was like the only good part in a pretty bad film. So, and not the real the same. So, I think we should talk about the aesthetic of Gotham now, Michael.
Yeah, it's so, I love it.
I love it as well. I love it, yes.
Yeah, because it's like, obviously Tim Burton, he's famous for being gothic, and I like it because it feels like it's not just New York. I mean, it's not even New York at all. Like, because the Christopher Nolan Batman films, Gotham is New York. That's it. I mean, I feel like there's a few maybe strange things in it, but it's basically just New York. That's it. You understand in your head, you're like, okay, Gotham is what they are for some reason calling New York. Whereas in this, you're like, okay, Gotham is something unlike anything else in the world. It's a weird American city where they have Gothic architecture. And I don't know, for me it kind of... And the thing is, obviously, you were talking about the time zones and... the time period. I'm going to guess that they must have had an idea in their head that, like, they were doing some kind of weird alternate thing with time zones. Time zones, I keep saying that, with time periods. So, like, I think in their head, they were like, this is a completely different world. And it kind of like, obviously, steampunk, which is like, what if sci-fi happened in Victorian era times? And that's kind of what this feels like, except shifted forward slightly. So it's not sci-fi in Victorian era times, so it's kind of like a weird Gothic architecture with sort of 50s-like society, and yet kind of 90s, 80s technology.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, no, it is. I really do like it. Obviously, compared to the 1960s version, again, very much more dark and gritty with Adam compared to the Adam West one. But yeah, that's what you get when you hire Tim Burton. And obviously, if you think about the Batman character, it perfectly aligns itself with Tim Burton. You know, just the costume, the Gotham. Like, obviously, you compare the two most famous DC comic book heroes. You got Superman and Batman. Superman in Metropolis, you know, very much. He's not in the underworld, is he? There, and Metropolis is like a better city than Gotham in terms of its crime and all that. So, you know, basically what I'm saying is Tim Burton doing Batman and the aesthetic he created just works completely.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
Yeah, I do, like you say, I love it. It was really good, and obviously it set the tone for the rest of Batman. All the movies that have been made since then involving Batman. You know, this like I said, it set the tone. It was the standard. So yeah, credit to Tim Burton. He really did do a good job here.
Good jab.
Are you clapping? Are you clapping there?
Yeah, I'm clapping him.
Okay, you got anything more you want to say before we get on to marketing?
Okay, yeah, actually, you know what? I mean, this isn't full under a set, but I wanted to mention it. I liked the scene when they were eating dinner together in his dining room, and they had a really big table.
Yeah, that was fun.
I guess, I mean, that's the thing. In a way, what I like about this, it has, so this is related to aesthetic, but I think it has something which is important for a film, which is character. You know, it definitely, like, it doesn't just feel like generic Hollywood film number 574. It feels like it's actually got a vision behind it and passion behind it, and obviously artistic nature to it.
Yes,
and that is shown through kind of the comedy and the visuals and the acting. So yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not bland, is it?
No, yeah,
yeah, and that's really nice. You know,
yeah, it's not called Bat Bland.
Okay, so onto the marketing now. So basically, as we've said before, the fans weren't happy with Michael Keaton being cast. They weren't happy.
Yeah, so they what they did, okay, is they had a big parade where they had a blimp with Batman in it.
Yes.
And all the Batman fans showed up, and then they released a gas and killed them all.
Okay, so in response, the first film trailer was rushed into production, and it played in thousands of theatres during Christmas. So like we said, this movie was released in June. So I think this was something that was unique, I guess, having a trailer literally come out 6 months before its releasing in Christmas. It was basically an assemblage of scenes without music, but it created enormous anticipation for the film, with audiences clapping and cheering. So
I clapped at the end when I saw Batman. I clapped.
Yes, exactly. So again,
I want to see this Batman original trailer.
So that is, I guess, something that every movie does now. Releases a trailer 6 months before to get the hype going. And obviously at Christmas, and it really was the start of the modern superhero movie, or maybe even more than just a superhero movie, the modern blockbuster, if you will. So in the months before Batman's release in June 1989, a popular culture phenomenon known as Batmania began. Over $750 million worth of merchandise was sold. Cult filmmaker and comic book writer Kevin Smith remembered, the summer was huge. You couldn't turn around without seeing the bat signal somewhere. People were cutting it into their fucking heads.
That's what the top. So I actually looked up the thing. I'm not really watching it because I can't watch the sound, so it'll be pointless. But I did see the top comment says that logo was everywhere that summer. Great time to be a kid that period.
Yeah, no. Apparently it was. It was just the summer of Batman, and if you're a comic book fan, it was pretty hot. So there you are. Hatchet Book Group USA published novelization Batman, written by Craig Shaw Gardner. It remained on the New York Times bestseller list throughout June 1989, but Tim Burton admitted he was annoyed by the publicity, and David Handelman at the New York Observer categorized Batman as a high-concept film, but he believed it's less movie than a corporate behemoth. So even though we've praised the movie, there was certainly marketing around it, and apparently this was... Because I've seen other, stuff on this. This was like literally how every major movie is today. Just like a ton of merchandise. I guess like how Star Wars is today, if you imagine. And this was the first movie that really did that. Really exploited the amount of money that could be made off a blockbuster. I think that's the key. The exploitation of this movie for obviously monetary purposes is something that was never seen before. And obviously with the trailer as well, it was really like, this was the first real time people took advantage in the marketing business in Hollywood of a blockbuster. Another just piece I'd like to read to you just quickly. Reflecting on the 20th anniversary of its release on Salon.com, film commentator Scott Mendelson noted the continuing impact that Batman has had on the motion film industry, including the increasing importance of the opening weekend box office receipts, the narrowing window between a film's debut and its video release that caused the demise of second-run movie theatres, the accelerated acquisition of pre-existing, pre-sold properties for film adaptations that can be readily leveraged for merchandising tie-ins, and also, this is a key one, I think, or perhaps the biggest key one, which we still see to this day, the primary of the MPAA PG-13 as the target rating for film producers. So there you are. So they specifically targeted that because they were like, we can get so many people in the movie theaters to see this. Yes, we could make it darker, but we're just going with this. So there you are.
Yeah. That's why only one person says shit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And there you go. They really, although it's a good film, like they really exploited the max out of it, like how every movie is exploited nowadays. So yeah, this was the first movie that properly did that. So I think it's just important to note that this is like the first modern, blockbuster movie when it comes to marketing and things like that. So yeah, got anything to say about
that? No, not really. I mean, basically, I didn't really know any of that, actually. I mean, I actually said at the beginning, I think I said that I thought this was kind of a big blockbuster. So I guess that's why. And there was something about it. It did feel like it was a big deal, but maybe I had subconsciously read that, and that's why I said it felt like it was a big blockbuster. But yeah, I didn't really know any of the specific details. That's crazy. Yeah,
apparently, it was a very big thing, and so I think that should be noted. And obviously, the Joker. I think is the Joker R-rated? I think it is.
I would guess so, but I can check. It's rated. It's a 15 in the UK, so I guess. See, sometimes 15 in the UK doesn't mean R-rated in
Go on, Michael. Tell us.
Rating age. Well, yeah, 15 UK, and it keeps knowing I'm from the UK.
Just say US.
It literally. I typed in USA, and I swear the top result is 15. British Board of Film Classification. The Joker movie gets an R rating and it will include strong. Okay, there we go. Finally.
So it is an R rating, yes. So obviously,
it will include strong violence and sexual imagery.
So yeah, obviously, over the last few years, we've had the R rating with the Joker now, and we've had it with Deadpool as well. So yeah, movies are going back to that, but obviously PG-13 for the longest time, for literally every superhero movie that came out was PG-13. I think what was that movie with Wesley Snipes?
Blade.
Yeah, I think those were R-rated. I think.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, they were pretty. I mean, there's a scene in it where a vampire blows up like it's in space.
Yeah, okay.
Like it just expands and just explodes blood everywhere. So it might be the case actually that they got worse, or not worse, but more graphic as it went along. But yeah, because I think that scene's from Blade 2.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Also, but this is something from Tim Burton. Ever since I did Batman, it was like the first dark comic book movie. Now, everyone wants to do a dark and serious superhero movie. I guess I'm the one responsible for that trend. So again, just another thing that this movie started, which I have to agree with as well. Yeah, the first non-campy. I mean, those Superman movies before this one came out, not the grittiest, were they?
No. What about Superman? What's the Superman theme?
Da, 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 da. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
there we go. You nailed it.
Yeah. Do you want to conclude, Michael? Now?
Yeah, I'll conclude.
You
Michael.
go first.
So,
yeah.
All right. So, mostly positives. Number one, this film. What I like about it is it feels very particular to the superhero. And this is something which, as you know, I hate Marvel. No, but I kind of, my issue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe has always been that it kind of takes what I think should be the particular character that should be associated with superheroes and kind of just flattens it out to apply to a vast, broad range of superheroes. And I contrast that with, for example, you had Superman, the Superman films in the 70s, which were very kind of optimistic and hopeful. And then you had the Spider-Man films, the early 2000s, which are kind of, very, well, they felt like coming of age little teen stories about somebody who was a little kid who was a superhero. And you had the X-Men films, which were kind of bad. But then people thought they were good at the time. And then you got this film, and it works so well. Like, it feels like, yes, this is a Batman film. And if you kind of take those kind of films from before the rise of Marvel to its head, but also the rise of Christopher Nolan, and you just watch the films, you think, yeah, I know that this is a Batman film. I know that this is a Spider-Man film. I know this is a Superman film because of how it feels, not just because of what it's got in the title or what the character dressed up. It just feels like that kind of film. And obviously the thing with Christopher Nolan is that I think his films are probably better films, but I think this is a better Batman film in that it feels like, a real Batman. And that comes down to things like the aesthetic and also that I think the Joker seems more jokery and that he's like humorous. Again, I think Heath Ledger's Joker is a better villain, but I think Jack Nicholson's Joker is a better Joker. So it's kind of, again, where are your priorities?
With that, yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine, Luke. I'll just fight you in the street. Now, the other positive is that I did find this film enjoyable. Like, I found this film quite fun to watch, and that was based on a lot of the comedic characters. I think, yes, when I actually thought about it, you're right. It gets kind of not as good as it goes along because a lot of the entertaining characters fall off. And I think, yeah, they could have definitely afforded to cut the film down slightly. While obviously, like I say, they could have tried adding in more character moments later on. I also think, yeah, just the bit at the end with Batman versus the Joker, like they show up together, they meet each other, and then they just disappear. And they show up together and they meet each other and they just disappear. Like, you think, well, that does happen like 3 times or something, doesn't it? It's like, there's at the restaurant, it happens, like Joker shows up and then they leave, and then it's at her house. Show up and they just leave, and then eventually he takes her up to the bell and then dies. A bell tower. So yeah, I think they should have really sorted that out a bit. They clearly started off strong, but the thing is, for me, it kind of fostered enough goodwill at the beginning that I was still able to kind of just carry on that residual enjoyment throughout. And the other real big benefit is that Batman the Animated Series is considered to be one of the best America Western animated TV series ever by a lot of people. Second, generally, to Avatar, The Last Airbender. And yeah, that's really good. And I must say that I think it's a shame that we didn't get to see Tim Burton's Batman 3, because Batman Returns is good as well. So I think it was a good series too. And with all of that said, there are the negatives, again, they're kind of just, I think we kind of covered the negatives. I don't think you can really summarize the negatives. That's kind of my opinion. I don't think you can just say, oh, and the negatives are, but the closest you can get is talking about how it fell off towards the end. But I don't think you really summarize the negatives. I think negatives are lots of very small things. For me, this is what I would consider to be a classic low 7. And it's immediately, just as I was thinking about where I put it, suddenly I found it right next to Spider-Man Homecoming. And that's where I think you should go. I think I enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming more. I think Spider-Man Homecoming had a lot more personality to it and was a lot more enjoyable. I think both films are kind of good kind of representations of their character and good vehicles for that character. But I'm going to put Batman 89 just below Spider-Man Homecoming. That's number 27, low 7.
Okay. So with this movie, I think, I think as soon as the Joker comes in, it kind of goes down a bit because it's just the Joker doing stuff and the Batman trying to stop him. And like we said before, well, like I said before anyway, there's no overarching theme really. There's nothing that the Joker's motivated by, it seems, apart from he just wants to, cause mayhem and all that, and not for any ideological reason either. Just, that's what the Joker does, so he's doing it. And with Batman, obviously, he's just trying to stop the Joker, and it's a shame that they didn't focus more on how they're two sides of the same coin. There's, like we said before, a couple of lines dedicated towards it, but it's not really fleshed out as much as it could have been, and I think that would have been better. It would have been more of a theme in this movie. So yeah, that's a shame. That's something that they could have worked on. But yeah, I think, to be honest, this movie, is really held up by its performances. Jack Nicholson is really good as the Joker, and Michael Keaton really, really good as Batman. Like we said before, he's still the best Batman ever, which, considering how many people played that now, and including Robert Pattinson, I'll be, I think, 7 people who have played Batman. Am I right, Michael?
Let me count.
I think maybe
1,
only 6.
2. What are we counting animated voice acting, Luke? Huh?
Oh, no, I wasn't. I wasn't.
No, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. What about Gotham?
Yeah,
we could throw that in to make you correct, Luke.
He's just a kid, though. So
yeah, 1, 2.
Yeah, he's a young
3,
Bruce Wayne.
4, 5. I think it's 6. Okay, let's see. So it's Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer. What's his face?
George Clooney.
Christian Bale, and then what's his face?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, and then Rob. Yeah, so including it's 7.
All right, okay. So yeah, and he is the best of all of them, and maybe Robert Pattinson will surpass him, but that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, again, I think just what you said before, it's a low 7. I think that's right. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. Like, it's decent.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's nothing apart from the performances, the actual plot. It's nothing special. And yeah, it's a fine movie, and obviously it made a bunch of money, and yeah, like it was the first movie to have fucking merchandise all over the shop. You had like Batman, the Batman logo on lunchboxes, I imagine, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something to be noteworthy as well. So
yeah,
here's the thing: I was going to ask you now about the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Joker, but we already have discovered that it was at 76%. How many reviews?
The real question is it going to go up and down? Oh, so I tell you how many reviews? Okay, yeah, I think it's not like as few as you might think.
Is it like 60, something like that?
Let's see. Actually, we'll see. Maybe it is actually hardly any. It's 118.
Wow. Okay, so that's pretty. It's pretty certain it's going to stay around that. Oh, I forgot to mention in my review the aesthetic. By the way, that's one of its.
Sorry, real positives.
Well, yeah, a real positive from this movie.
Oh, guess Rambo: Last Blood got 26%.
Oh dear, Rambo, eh? But anyway, I think then we should do another guess, Michael. Another guess. So here's my idea. How many people are going to get killed by incels at the opening weekend of this movie?
Okay, I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4.
4. Oh, I was going to go higher. I was going to go 10.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, that's fine. I like that.
Okay.
I have faith.
So you think
people? I mean, I don't have faith in. I just think they'll be very bad at doing it. I think they won't actually be as successful as they think. I think there'll be quite a few more critically injured. I just don't think they'll be able to. They'll probably come in just spraying bullets. They'll be firing off the hip. They're not really going to be going for those kill shots. So it's just not going to work out for them.
So here's my thinking. It's an R-rated movie in the United States, so that means less kids. That means more adults in the movie theatre, which means bigger target to hit. So more dead people. Yeah. So that's my prediction. Now, obviously, we hope no one dies in the opening of the.
No, hold on. I hope I hope no people die because then I'll win.
Oh right, okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, so that's why I hope no people die.
God. Anyway, so we'll I'll pencil that in, and yeah, well, let's see what happens.
It's gonna be so bad if like I don't know how many it would be to just tip the scales in your favour. Is it like 7? 4, 5, 6,
7.
4, 5, 6, 7.
If it's 7, we draw. Yeah.
Yeah. So 7. Yeah. So if it's 8, you'll be really happy. Guess what, Michael? 8 dead opening weekend.
Oh god,
that would be. You'll just feel so awful winning that.
Yeah. No, I mean, whenever the Joker comes out, when on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, and we get to discuss that on Select and Reflect, I'm going to enjoy talking about the whole incel thing, but that is for another time. Anyway, so we have been selecting and reflecting on Batman 1989 because of the release of Joker. And its 30-year anniversary. What are we doing next week, Michael?
We are doing Zombieland. Yeah, we are. Okay, yeah, Zombieland, and it's basically the start of Spooktober.
Yeah, next week, Spooktober will commence. So we are.
Of course, we're doing it because Zombieland 2 is coming out.
Yes, of course, yes.
But throughout Spooktober, we're going to be looking at some of the greatest zombie films in the world.
Yes, we are, and you picked them all, so I hope they're good.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's just say they're films.
Okay.
No. I think to be honest, I actually enjoy all of them, but some of them for different reasons.
All right. So yeah, Spooktober's coming up next. Who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke, thank you. We've been selecting and reflecting on Batman. Join us next week for Zombieland. Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.